Shalom, Avigdor Eskin from Jerusalem. We're having a very special guest with us today, one of the leaders of the Boers in South Africa, Dr. Roodt. And he came at a very special time for us, soon after the 9th day of Av, when we commemorated the destruction of our first and our second temple. But after this morning, we have prophecy of Isaiah, which says, comfort ye my people. But when we are looking at South Africa today, we very much worried. Well, we never had better friends and better allies than you. And what's happening with you now? What's going on there?
Well, yes, I think if you talk about the destruction of the temple, our temple is being destroyed at this moment, at this very moment. And I'm not only talking about the physical destruction of many of our assets, but also the type of spiritual, cultural, linguistic and identity destruction that is going on at present. We are being treated as second-class citizens in our own country. The very state that we had built up is being used against us as a weapon to dispossess us of our land, our property, and also to drive us out. I have a black friend in South Africa, someone called Meshach Mabukhwane, who is a columnist for the Business Day. And not so long ago, he told me a very significant story in that the former president Mbeki was apparently obsessed by the Xhosa mass suicide, if you could call it that, in the 19th century as a result of the prophecy of Namkwawuse, who said that if they just killed all their cattle and burnt all their grain, then that would drive the white man into the sea. There would be a red sun rising over the horizon, and the white man would be driven into the sea. But of course it never happened, and the Xhosa actually starved. Many of them starved to death. And he sees what's currently happening in South Africa, and this policy of what I could call a structural genocide that's being waged against us, is a type of a revenge for what the Xhosas inflicted upon themselves in the 19th century. And it's part of the collective subconscious of the Xhosa people and also black South Africans in general, that they blame us, as it were, for the self-inflicted pain of 150 years ago.
Well, it was over 150 years ago, almost 200 years ago, when the nation of the Boers made a covenant with God and survived. And we see a very special task for this nation. Well, we here don't believe that the temple of South African Boers has been destroyed totally. We believe that you've shown during the last 15 years great ability of staying, not moving. Like Golda Meir said about Israel, we just have very special weapon, very secret weapon, because we have just no place to go. And you show that you staying there, you show another thing, you show the whole hypocrisy of this world, and it has to be said that the whole world has to come and to ask for forgiveness of the people of South Africa, the world which imposed upon you these changes.
Yes, exactly.
Which made the life absolutely miserable. 174,000 people killed, and since then nobody opens a mouth. Now, we believe that this is going to be a new era when you and our nation as well will show the world that this godless liberalism and godless communism will never prevail. What are the chances that South African Boers show the world what the truth is like, that it's impossible to destroy God's people. What are the chances that you stand up now?
I think the chances of a big political change in South Africa are very good at the moment, because there's a huge amount of frustration among our people. You know, they are being mistreated, we are suffering from the violence and the racial discrimination, the institutionalized racism of the current system, which is actually far worse than blacks ever experienced under apartheid. You know, we don't receive any state funds for our homelands. We haven't got a homeland in South Africa. We have to pay for everything privately. The state does not supply us with any form of security or healthcare, or even our education we have to pay for. And at the same time, we are taxed very heavily. We are just the milk cows of the ANC regime and receiving nothing in return. But that type of resilience that you're talking about, that we saw during the Great Trek, and especially around the time of the Battle of Blood River, when we gained a miraculous victory over the Zulus on the basis of the covenant that we had formed with God. I think that will be coming to the fore as the crisis deepens. You know, I think just at the 11th hour, people will finally wake up, and we've seen this year a lot of that type of reawakening of the spirit of the Afrikaner people in South Africa.
Well, there are people in Jerusalem who are praying for those who are still our best friends on the earth, who have proven to be the most loyal allies, the most decent people, godly people, and faithful to real friendship. Now, if we want to help, how can people contact you? How can people approach you? You have a website.
Yes,
can
exactly.
you give your address that people will be able to contact you and to support you?
Yes,
can we do that?
Yes, of course you can do that. You know, we've got various websites under the name of PRAAG, P-R-A-A-G, for the Pro-Afrikaans Action Group. The main one is praag.co.za, but we've also got one praag.co.uk, which is an English language website.
That's important.
Yes, and they can contact us there. We've got a system of donations where people can make small donations or enter into a subscription via PayPal, where they can you know, pay us a small monthly amount. So we are ready to accept support from anyone, particularly in Israel, where we've had friends for so many years, for so many decades. You know, our cooperation going back to even before the 6-Day War in Israel.
Now, listen, the liberals and the communists alike, they use international structures, and our mistake was always that people of traditionalist orientation were among themselves in this place, but we have to realize, everybody has to realize, what's happening today in South Africa will happen to everybody. It will not go and help them now. That's what I wanted to make sure, that we remember the words of Mordechai to Esther from the Bible, that if you will stay idly at this time, deliverance and rescue will come to Jews from elsewhere, but you and your house will be destroyed. Now, we stay idly by this terrible culture and physical genocide, humiliation of the whites in South Africa. This will come to all of us sooner or later. Let's stop it there. Let's stop it there now. Now it's not 11th hour, it's already the 12th hour, but we'll still do it. Thank you. Shalom.